I think it's just a real moment of opportunity here for stability, greater peace, greater prosperity. And I've 2 days in Greece, so morning in Macedonia, evening in Kosovo, and now here in Serbia. Greece and Macedonia have a real possibility of solving their 27-year dispute over the name change. You have two, what I consider very courageous prime ministers that are looking at what's in the best interest of their people. And I think that type of example can be useful here as Serbia and Kosovo are engaged in what I consider very serious talks to try and solve their long-standing dispute.
But since your last visit to Serbia, that was in February, am I right? There had happened one thing which nobody had expected, that is opening of discussion of possible changes of borders between Serbia and Kosovo. That is the reason why I must ask this interview the question, is it acceptable for the US officials?
Well, I think we've always taken a pretty consistent position that the solution, again, it's not going to be easy, but the solution has to come from the parties involved here, from the leaders and the people of Serbia and the leaders and people of Kosovo. And the U.S. is just here to support and encourage a solution. We want to give those leaders the space to be flexible, to be imaginative. You know, think outside the box in terms of how can you solve this very difficult problem here. And so that's really what I'm primarily here to provide that type of support and that kind of encouragement.
What is your impression? Our Serbian and Kosovo officials are very serious with that idea when they say that partition could be solution for 3 decades long problem?
I think they're serious about finding a solution. And again, we're not going to impose anything. That's going to have to come in those types of talks. I understand people's concerns. I think those are legitimate concerns about some kind of domino effect, but again, we're going to leave it up to the leaders here in Serbia and Kosovo to determine that solution. Then we'll take a look at it and we'll voice any concerns we have at that point in time.
There are a lot of experts, activists and political analysts who openly warning of possibility of negative effects to the region, to the Balkans. How do you feel about that kind of comments?
Again, I think those are legitimate concerns that I believe the leaders in both Serbia and Kosovo are well aware of as well. And so that has to be factored into any type of solution. But again, we're not here to dictate what should be discussed, what should be considered, or what the final solution should be. We're here just really to provide that encouragement and support.
Let's talk something about international conditions. Some EU states, specifically Germany, is categorically against any kind of changes borders between Serbia and Kosovo. Where is the difference between position of the state, Germany precisely, and the United States?
Well, they've obviously drawn a red line. I would say we haven't, but we're very supportive of the EU-led dialogue in terms of how we get these two sides working together, and so we're supportive of that particular dialogue and not drawing any red lines.
Maybe you have noticed, I'm sure that you have noticed that Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić spent this weekend in Kosovo. During the rally north of divided city of Mitrovica, he mentioned Slobodan Milošević as, quotation mark, great Serbian leader. This caused many negative comments from the region in the last 2 days. What do you think about that conclusion, that impression, that description of Slobodan Milošević?
First of all, I'm glad that President Vučić could go to Kosovo, largely, I understand, but largely without incident, and express his views. I have not had a chance to read the entire speech, and before I really comment on anything he said, I'd want to read the context and exactly the totality of what he said.
But have you been surprised with that conclusion?
That's not the way I would describe Milošević.
Mm-hmm. What would be your description of Milošević?
Again, I would not describe him as a great leader.
These days, there are a lot of discussions about new American course towards Serbia. In July, the Serbian Prime Minister Ana Brnabić, for example, stated that President Trump administration is more willing to listen to the Serbian position regarding Kosovo issue than before. What is there to listen to? Is Kosovo issue an open on?
Well, the Prime Minister was in Washington, D.C. to celebrate the anniversary, the 100-year anniversary of Woodrow Wilson raising the Serbian flag over the White House and really issuing a day of prayer, recognizing the immense sacrifice of Serbia and its people in World War I. And I think that the Prime Minister realized, because of the context she came with a number of members of Congress, I was at that ceremony, the deep level of support for the Serbian people as they try and stabilize the situation here in their country in the Balkans and reach for greater prosperity and greater opportunities. So I think it's just that recognition that America is really with the Serbian people, and we want to see this nation succeed.
Freedom House organization reported that Serbia is one of the states from this region which democracy has suffered a lot of during the 2017, or the most of among other states from the Balkans. Do you agree with them?
First of all, I have not read...
I believe that Aleksandar Vučić is one of the responsible politicians for that.
Well, I haven't read their report. I would rather not assess blame. I do realize that President Vučić is committed to EU membership. And of course, if you have any aspirations for joining the EU, you have to be certified in terms of democratic institutions, rule of law, a free judiciary, a free press. And so if that's the aspiration of President Vučić, obviously he's going to have to fall in line with those EU requirements. And I think that's a very good thing for Serbia.
What kind of expectation do you have regarding upcoming referendum in Macedonia?
Well, actually I was encouraged in my talks with the Prime Minister Zaev, as well as opposition leaders, not the leader, but opposition members of parliament. They are encouraging the citizens of Macedonia to go out, exercise their right to vote, and tell their leaders exactly what they think of that agreement. That's certainly what I encourage as well. You have that right to vote, and it would be a shame if you didn't exercise it. So I think the belief is that it will pass, and hopefully there will be no boycott, but there will be a robust participation in those elections. That would be the best thing.
What would be the message of the US administration to all those Greek citizens who were demonstrating massively because of this referendum, because the agreement between Greeks and Macedonian Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras and Zoran Zaev?
Well, first of all, when you demonstrate, you are exercising your rights as a free people, and Greece allows that. That's a good thing. I guess I would tell both the citizens of Greece and Macedonia that don't support the agreement. It's unpopular in both countries. And oftentimes what I've found since I've joined the political realm, when a solution is not popular on both sides, maybe that indicates you found the sweet spot for what is possible in terms of solutions. So again, these are long-standing problems. There are no easy solutions. So I would just applaud the political courage of the prime ministers for agreeing to something that they know is not popular in their nations, and maybe that does indicate that is the right solution. And I really have a sense that once this agreement, if it is ratified, I think the people of both Greece and Macedonia will realize in hindsight that was probably the right thing to do.
Let's talk a little about Moscow's influence in this region. Where do you recognize, let's say, negative part of Russian influence in the region, in the Macedonia, in Serbia, in Montenegro, in Kosovo, in Bosnia and Herzegovina?
First of all, I think it's very unfortunate. I truly wish Russia would have accepted the outreached hand of the West, fully integrated their economy with the West, stopped their aggression, their invasion of Georgia, their illegal occupation of Crimea, the invasion of Ukraine, the frozen conflict in Transnistria, the meddling in politics across the region as well as in our country. They are unfortunately a malign influence. I wish Russia was no worse than a friendly rival. Unfortunately, they're more in the adversary category, and truthfully, to Eastern Europe, they really offer nothing in terms of economic prosperity. They destabilize the situation. Again, it's very unfortunate. I hope Vladimir Putin has a change of heart and realizes that the best course for Russia is cooperate, not destabilize, but work with nations like Serbia and the United States and other European powers to help stabilize, bring greater peace and stability to Europe and the world.
Are you worried because of those relations which Russia made with nationalistic right-wing organization here in Serbia, and finally with organization who demonized NATO, demonized multiculturalism? What could be your comment? Is it too dangerous for regional stability?
It is dangerous for regional stability. Again, Russia, at this point, Russia is offering nothing positive. They are a malign influence. They only can offer destabilization. And quite honestly, if you take a look at the EU and America, the West, those economies represent well north of $30 trillion of economic activity. Russia is probably less than $2 trillion. Again, the economic future of Serbia and the Balkans and Europe really lies with Western democracies, and it's that liberty, freedom, and free market capitalism that really provides those types of opportunities.
Do you agree with those experts who believe that Russia understands Balkans as playground for testing the boundaries of the possible?
That might be what they're doing. I personally just think they're trying to destabilize. They offer nothing more.
In August 2017, you have suggested to the Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić to resist Russian requests regarding the Serbian and Russian humanitarian center in Niš, to not give diplomatic immunity to the staff of that center. Till today, it did not issued by that kind of immunity. Do you believe that Vučić, according to that, we can conclude that Vučić accepted your suggestion?
No, I believe President Vučić made his own decision on that. That certainly was my advice, and we're certainly appreciative of the fact that he did not grant diplomatic immunity to that, quote, humanitarian center.
What is your biggest concern regarding the center in Niš?
Well, that it really was not a humanitarian center. It was really set up as a base for further stabilization of the region.
Why do you believe that?
Because I think that's basically the track record of Russia and Putin.
Serbia is holding the position of so-called balanced politics in terms of attitude towards NATO, towards Russia, towards, except European Union, we can say. Do you think this policy of two chairs is working? Two chairs is working?
Probably not with the way Putin and Russia is behaving right now. But again, as I said earlier, I would like to have better relationship with Russia. I can certainly understand any nation, not wanting Russia to be an adversary, to have improved relationship. But from my standpoint, that totally depends on Putin and Russia's behavior. The ball's in their court. If they want better relationships, they need to behave better.
So, will the US President Donald Trump visit Serbia? According to local pro-government media, he should come to Balkan until the end of 2018.
Well, I don't control his schedule. I would like to see it happen. Again, the reason I'm here, the reason so many American politicians and members of this administration are paying attention to Serbia and the Balkans is we really do realize this is a moment in time where really good things can happen, and we want to encourage and support those good things.
Mm-hmm. Where is the Balkans on the list of priority of international politics of Donald Trump administration?
Well, I can tell you in terms of the list of my priorities, I don't think I've visited a European country more than 3 times, and I've been here 3 times now. So you can see where this list, high on my priority list, as well as Assistant Secretary of State Wes Mitchell, who's certainly encouraging these visits as well.
This is very interesting. Donald Trump surprised many of citizens in the Balkans with his comment that Montenegrins are aggressive people who can cause the Third World War. May I ask you for your comment of that statement?
Well, first of all, I was the subcommittee chairman that held the hearing on Montenegro's accession into NATO. Kind of by chance, I was also in the presiding chair as the Senate voted to ratify that accession by a vote of 98-2. So I obviously support Montenegro's membership in NATO. I view Montenegro as a friend and as an ally.
So may I ask you, was President Donald Trump had been serious?
You'd have to talk to Donald Trump about that, or President Trump. I've just stated, my viewpoint.